What's good, everybody? Hope you guys are doing good. So we are back today for another update with this whole stimulus situation, and every day it seems like something is changing. So I'm trying to stay in the loop and keep you guys informed so we can better prepare going forward with this situation. So Pence denies threat of second bug wave, touts $400 billion infrastructure bill. So here's a new proposal, guys. Now they want to propose an infrastructure bill. Spike in the bug case is concentrated in few counties, Vice President says. Time of this recording, it is Saturday, 6/20/20. Dow Jones was down, Nasdaq was up, S&P was down, but nothing substantial, just small amounts at this point in time. Now let's go over this article real quick. Alright, so Mike Pence, who is vice president, he had an interview with Charles Payne, and he denied that a second wave of the bug is on the horizon. Said the White House is committed to ushering another stimulus bill, as well as a separate $400 billion infrastructure bill to pull America out of this recession. So now what we're looking at is two different bills. One is the overall stimulus package, and the other one is a potential infrastructure bill. Now it says here, despite the fact that some networks like to put maps up with lots of red states, the reality is, as of the morning, there are only 11 counties in America that are seeing accelerating new cases, and only about 2% of those counties in this country are seeing any significant increase in case at all. Alright, so according to Reuters, they found 6 states, Arizona, Florida, Oklahoma, Oregon, Nevada, and Texas reported spikes in new cases on Tuesday. Now I'm wondering, if any of you guys live in these states, have you guys heard about this locally? What's the news coming out locally? Because this seems like an overall update they're giving us, but since you guys live locally in these states, let me know in the comments below what is going on locally. I'd be curious. Now we continue here. The truth is that now all 50 states and territories are reopening, and we're proving to do that in a safe way. So here's the thing. States are still hesitant to open. There's a lot going on. Gyms and bars are still not open. Places that generate a lot. Oh, I got a question, guys. I was thinking about this, okay? So somebody let me know in the comments below. Now, gyms were closed because they're not deemed essential. But is it not essential for people to take care of themselves? So keep that thought in mind. Now, the other thing I'm wondering is places like Lowe's and Home Depot, they're considered essential business. They've been open the whole time. How does that make sense? And gyms closed, that makes sense. Somebody let me know in the comments below. It makes sense to this to me, because to me it makes absolutely no sense. You got gyms, they're closed, but you got these home improvement stores that are open. I don't understand this. Okay, let's continue. Just something I was thinking of in the back of my head. Alright, so as we keep going here, Pence said on Wednesday the White House is committed to backing a $400 billion infrastructure bill, which is less than half of the $1 trillion infrastructure bill that Bloomberg reported the White House was weighing on Tuesday. There's a roughly $400 billion infrastructure bill that what the president and our team have had the conversation about on Capitol Hill. In addition, the White House is also working on another round of stimulus with Congress, which could be in the range of $2 trillion. So if you guys recall, this is another point of contention. Trump wants to spend like $1 trillion, I think it was, and then the Democrats want like $3 trillion. So they're trying to find something in the middle to compromise to where both sides can come to an agreement. It's going to be focused on the American people, making sure that families are able to get through the bug. We are going to help small businesses. One of the things the president made clear with leaders in Congress is we've got to have pro-growth policy in the next round. The president wants to see a payroll tax cut that's going to put money in the pockets of working Americans. That could be good. In addition to the payroll tax, Republicans want liability protection for businesses that are reopening and incentives for people to want to return to work instead of staying on unemployment. I'm sure you guys have seen all the memes and everything going on. There are people who are getting paid more on unemployment than they were when they were employed. Times we live in. Meanwhile, Democrats want an extension of those unemployment benefits as well as directed aid to states. White House officials reportedly believe they can get this fourth round of stimulus on the president's desk before Congress breaks for its audit. These guys are always on recess. Every time I read an article, it tells me these guys are on recess. How many recesses do these people have? It's out of control, guys. Every time I read something, these guys are on a freaking recess. No time for recess. Until people get it together, we have a plan in place, no recess. Alright, let's continue. Alright, so the $4,000 travel credit. When could the U.S. stimulus be approved in U.S. Congress? Donald Trump's proposal will be included as part of the next federal stimulus bill, which is stalled as Democrats and Republicans joust over the HEROES Act. Now, one thing with this whole travel credit potential, I don't know if people really want to travel. I mean, do people want to travel? I know summertime school's out, but school's been out. I think at this point in time, people just want to survive and pay their bills and keep their cars and assets that they have probably a lot of debt on. I'm just saying. Anyways, the $4,000 travel credit is an attempt to boost natural tourism around reeling from the impact of the bug. It was first discussed during a White House roundtable with restaurant executives and industry leaders in May, but has yet to be fleshed out in terms of what exactly it will consist of and when it may reach the floor of Congress. The U.S. president made the suggestion as part of his plans for a Phase 4 stimulus package that is expected to be similar in terms of outlay to the $2.2 trillion CARES Act that was introduced in March. The global tourism industry has been hit hard by the bug, and in the U.S. it has added to a level of job destruction not seen since the Great Depression. Over 45 million people have filed for unemployment since mid-March. In case you guys haven't heard, so this proposal was called Explore America and it is designed to give the tourism industry a much-needed shot in the arm by allowing citizens who choose to take a vacation in-country to claim back 50% of their expenses in such areas as travel expense, accommodation, food, and expenditure on entertainment. Also, too, guys, another food for thought. Let's say this thing goes through. Who wants to travel and stay in a hotel? Anybody? Now, if you got family in other states, okay, that makes sense, but I don't know about you, I don't want to stay in a hotel right now. I don't like hotels in general, just because of the whole cleanliness thing. I'm kind of a neat freak type. I'm paranoid with that stuff, as you already know. I just don't see it happening. I don't know how well, even if this thing passes, how much people are going to really want to travel. Just a lot in the air that we got to wait and see. The scheme will run until end of 2021 from its launch date. The U.S. has yet to finalize the finer points. The HEROES Act, championed by the Democrats and Speaker Pelosi, remain on the table, but it's likely to be rebuffed when it reaches Republican-controlled Senate in July or August. So we're gonna have to wait probably another month. Like I said, best case scenario, we would have had it in mid to late June announcement that it was already passed, but more likely July and August, probably. That's what it seems like by what they write here. Republicans are expected to make a counter proposal, the basis of which will be Trump's Phase 4 rollout. I think we're working on something that's going to be very dramatic and very good, the president said during an interview. Phase 1, 2, and 3 have been fantastic for people in general, small business owners also, but we're looking for something else. When could this thing be approved? Hopefully soon, but these guys are on vacation. So the $4,000 credit is not a standalone proposal and will have to be included as part of an overall package. So it's not just going to be by itself, it's going to be part of an overall package. And also the Democrats have proposed a $1.5 trillion infrastructure bill called the Moving Forward Act. I don't know how we're going to pay for all this. I don't want to think about it, but it's going to be crazy going forward. Also too, have you guys noticed if you go shopping, food prices are going up? It's not a conspiracy, it's a fact. Food prices are going up. Now, if it's a result of inflation, of supply and demand, combination of things, that's one thing too, is that these measures, they might be impacting the prices of food and all that. So maybe instead of this $4,000 tax credit for travels, how about just a tax credit to buy groceries? Just something simple. If we're going to go down this route of having tax credit for something, might as well do it for groceries, something that most people are going to need and take advantage of. Now, the scheme would boost unemployment and encourage U.S. citizens to spend money on domestic travel, but with the easing of lockdown restrictions linked to a recent spike in cases in more than 20 states, it remains seen if travel credit is viable this summer. Exactly. So with cases going up, who knows? Maybe some states are going to choose to have a state lockdown, not let travel happen, and it could really mess up plans. If who wants to travel someplace and then you get stuck and you can't come back to whatever state you're in? A lot of uncertainty, guys. A lot of uncertainty for sure. Now, the second stimulus check update is a dramatic second round in the works. today's status. This is June 20th, so this is fresh off the press. Want to get as accurate as we can with what is going on because so much is changing. Let's continue here. Okay, so from Thursday, the Department of Labor revealed that 1.5 million people applied for unemployment benefits last week. 13 straight weeks that more than 1 million Americans are out of work and filing for unemployment, something I've been reiterating before. And the amount of money you could get in the round of checks could hinge on what the rescue package is worth as a whole. Senate Majority Leader seeking a $1 trillion cap, and President Trump was suggesting at least $2 trillion. So there you go. So the House wanted $3 trillion, Senate Majority Leader wanted $1 trillion, and President Trump wants at least $2 trillion. Now, a lot of people I've heard still haven't got their first check, so that's also an issue. Looks like there's a link here on how you can find out the status on the IRS website. Make sure you get your check if you qualify. Stimulus check timeline. When to expect a decision. Alright, so like I said, this is going to be a key date, guys, so put this on your calendar. The end of July is when the additional $600 per month is going to be expiring, and that will probably have a huge impact on the economy. Hopefully those people are able to find employment or go back to work. If not, that's going to be a hit on the economy as well. Do we still need a second check? The unemployment debate heats up. 82% of respondents said a one-time payment wouldn't be enough. And a poll of 6,000 revealed in May that 30% had spent their check on household bills, indicating that the pandemic effects are taking a financial toll. And we do not do a good job of saving, as you guys already know, as a whole. So once we get hit with something like this, it's going to be difficult for a lot of people to bounce back. It's going to take some time. On June 5th, the Bureau of Labor Statistics reported that U.S. unemployment rates in May declined by 1.4 to 13.3%. And here we go. Unemployment still increasing. And it's not just the U.S. problem, as you already know. It is global. So other countries around the world are also having problems opening up. And labor numbers are not doing too well. And then as we continue here, it's just basically ironing out what they might do. Here's a snapshot of who's eligible for the first check. U.S. residents who have a gross income less than $99,000, head of household, and earn under $146,000, and couples who file jointly without children and earn less than $198,000. Those are just some of the requirements if you still haven't got your first check. Maybe you don't qualify, or you got to follow up, see what's going on. Is the IRS done sending the first wave of checks? So it looks like 35 million Americans could still be owed a payment. What will it take to get a second check, and what will happen now? We don't have to read this. It's pretty simple. In order for a second stimulus to pass, you're going to have to obviously agree, and Trump is going to have to sign it into law. Now, if that's going to happen, it happened once, so they'll probably have to do something to get it back. Oh, here we go. Everybody's favorite doctor, Mr. Dr. Fauci. He's on it again. This is from Newsweek. Stimulus package on back burner amid Congress. See, guys, they're always on vacation. I'm telling you. Too much vacations. We need to vote on a bill for no more vacations until this gets done. So, as recently as April, the Senate skipped a scheduled recess as it worked past other aid packages to combat the bug shutdown. The House left Washington mid-May, only returning since then periodically to periodically approve the bug-related legislation. And now with everything going on, policing reform has obviously been an issue, and with that also playing a factor into these things, it might take longer for the stimulus packages to pass because they might be occupied trying to get the reform for the policing issues that we have seen in the past. Alright, so the National Defense Authorization Act needs to be debated and passed in the last 2 weeks on August to approve the military's annual budget, a process that is expected to be met with hurdles thanks to disagreement among Republicans and Trump over whether military assets should have their Confederate names stripped. Also, that's been an issue as well that they've been discussing. And Peter Navarro suggests the next bill should be around $2 trillion. Jerome Powell warned economic recovery was at risk without more congressional aid. And we're just sitting back and seeing what's going to happen. At this point, if they just let the economy open up, people take their chances with what's going down, that's probably the best thing that's going to happen. Instead of trying to pass these bills, who gets what, just open everything back up and let people decide what they want to do themselves. Personal choice is a good thing, as long as you don't hurt anybody else. Alright, so it says Trump's infrastructure plan hits snag among Senate Republicans. So now we got issues with these guys. They can't agree what's going on either. He looks happy. That's always important. He looks happy. President Trump's plan for a $1 trillion infrastructure spending invoice to cost the economic system earlier in the election has hit some bumps. And let's see, what else we got? So the CARES Act, they talk about that and how that passed a lot of infrastructure issues and how it's cost $484 billion. And basically, guys, there's not much more to say. Let's just leave it at that. These guys are still arguing, they're debating, they're on vacation, and time will tell what's going to happen. But at this point, you gotta do what you can, just protect yourself out there, be safe, and don't follow the news too much. A lot of bad news going on. Just keep updated, but do your thing, stay safe, take care of your fam, and that's about it for this video. Alright guys, that's going to be the video. As always, if you're not subscribed, subscribe. If you liked the video, don't forget to like. Until next time, peace.